Hello, Internet, and welcome to Rough Drafts Competes. It is the second weekly of the fifth month of our journey of wrestling competition. It is a very exciting time because the offline version of the game just launched, which means I shouldn't have to score cards anymore, which is really nice. It was a lot of work that I'm glad to not have to do again. And it means that I can just enjoy these matches rolling out with my lovely friend here, Xander. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm great. Definitely not tired. Definitely extremely alert and awake. Haven't worked like 25 out of the last 35 hours. Everything's great and grand and wonderful. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we're definitely not recording this at an irresponsible time for both of us. But that's the
That
thing
that
with
would never
wrestling.
be the case.
When it calls to you, when the stories are here and the table is set, you just have to see what's going to happen. And that's why we're here today, because we've got four weekly shows that have been planned out by each of our competitors. Looking at the rescores from the last episode, which I told y'all I would update you at the start here, Xander and I both ended up tying at 4.75 stars. Walter ended up being underscored substantially, so he joins Eduardo at 4.5 in the real scores here. And from this point forward, it should just be what the game says it is, barring any unknown disaster coming our way. So, shall we jump in, Xander, to what Walter has in store for us? Because I will say, I went through this card with him, a few hours before we're recording this now, and he told me, fuck the game. I don't care about the game anymore. I'm doing my own thing, which is kind of what we love about his promotion.
Yeah, I love when someone decides to let me win more. That's my favorite promotion.
Well, we'll see how it leads to points, but I think Walter's winning in his own life, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
No,
Um,
all joking aside, we do love Walter's promotion for the narrative builds and the cool stuff he does. So I'm
yes.
I'm I'm here for it.
And there's quite the theme we have here, which is going to include a lot of matches without gimmicks, because Christopher Devlin has said if you want a shot at the world title, you have to get through one of the members of Dominatus Tenebris. There are four different challenges that are in front of this card tonight. Four different members of Dominatus Tenebris who have been tasked with one job: keep Christopher Devlin from needing to fight in a title match. And I mean, it's no surprise here that the first one is Chase versus Eddie Davis. Chase, having been kidnapped by Eddie Davis and yet still surviving a last man standing match, was standing tall until he got absolutely fucking squashed by Christopher Devlin at the last pay per view. He is trying to win his way back into a world title shot. He wants to prove that that was a fluke, that he is more than what happened at that last show. But Eddie Davis, the time traveler militia, he has been a loyal member of Christopher Devlin's retinue, and having lost 6 matches in a row, sure would like a win here. Who do you think Walter gave it to?
I think that, excuse me, I think that Eddie Davis is the one collecting the dub here. I think Eddie Davis has lost almost all of his matches that he's competed in most recently. He's got Assassino here. And not that Chase is a loser by any means, but I think it's time to kind of even the score here and give Eddie Davis a win.
I see why you might say that, but here's the thing. Chase has proven that he knows how to take down Eddie Davis, and he is hungry for it. And Walter is rewarding that with a win here tonight. It's 3.75 stars, but it's a nice overness boost for Chase and a really important win for him given where he stood on the card. Eddie obviously losing an overness is a bit of a shame, but hopefully Walter has some plans for him to work his way back up. But as of right now, Eddie Davis has not proven his worth as a defender of Christopher Devlin's honor. But let's see if Thomas Austin, another member of Dominatus Tenebris, can do any better against Connor Creedon. You will notice there is no feud here. The stakes are very simple. Connor Creedon wants a shot at the title. Thomas Austin has been sent to stop him. Kill me before I kill you, is what Thomas Austin has told Connor Creedon here. And that,
Connor Cretan's not getting stopped here, and especially not by Thomas Austin. Okay, Connor Cretan is going to collect this dub in an easier fashion than we've seen a dub be collected in the last several weeks from the Stanford Wrestling Alliance. All right, it's not happening. Connor Cretan wins.
yeah, you're right. Connor Creedon's going to win this one. It's another 3.75 stars. All these matches, there are no gimmicks involved. These are clean matches because to earn a title shot, you shouldn't be able to abuse gimmicks. That's the way that Walter wants it. He believes that, gimmicks can give advantage to certain types of wrestlers over others. You got to win a clean match. And Connor Creedon, he wins it clean. He earns his shot at the title, and he will be in the title match at Schools Out, the next gold pay-per-view that will be at the end of this month.
I
Congratulations to him.
also look forward to school being out with it having just started again. So, very very prepared for that
Yes.
pay-per-view here.
Well, in this universe, this pay-per-view is happening in June, so it makes sense. But you know what else makes sense is this 3v3 match. We knew it was coming after Ethan Wilde shocked the world by splitting with Eternum to form his own faction named Short. Now, Daniel Stevenson said, well, you turned your back on us. You're meant to be our brothers in arms. We were meant to be a team together. And Ethan Wilde made it very clear. It's like, you are the usurper, Daniel. You wouldn't let me take the throne that was rightfully mine. I earned it. I won the men's title. I proved that I deserve to be a leader here. And since you wouldn't stand down, since you let your ego get in the way of doing what's right, I'm going to take what's mine. Now you have to pay. And obviously, they are not alone in this. The Killas, Dead Killa, and Legend Killa are both on Ethan Wilde's side, while Daniel Stevenson joined by Rick Dolan and Kyle Lucha. But this is the civil war between Eternum and Short, and it is the greatest wrestler feud between Daniel Stevenson and Ethan Wilde that is really driving this match. Who would you give the win to tonight?
Yeah, so I have it in my head canon that whenever Stevenson sees, the members of Short, he's just like, "Hey, listen, Kazart, okay? We're gonna put this rebellion down, and you guys are gonna step back into line." And for that reason, I think Kazart here are gonna be really upset, and they're gonna come out and try and win, but Stevenson's just too good, and Stevenson's gonna put a stop to it and continue to mispronounce their name.
See, I appreciate that energy. But here's the thing. Ethan Wilde's going to make sure you pronounce it correctly because he is the highest ranked wrestler in this match. They are going to take the win. It's going to be 4.25 star. It's a hot match, which is big here because it pushes Daniel Stevenson's gimmick. Dead Killa is over with the fans, and we now have two feuds that have started: this Ethan Wilde Daniel Stevenson feud and the Civil War feud. Oh, by the way, we have a holy shit moment. Oh, by the way, Dead Killa has gone hot, which gives Short a very nice reputation boost to start here.
Good job, Short. Good job.
Yeah, it's a strong start. We'll see. Obviously, I think Walter would love for this feud to go hot, and to be, I think, a cornerstone of what's to come. But this Ethan Wilde and Daniel Stevenson, I think, has a lot of legs. Two incredible competitors who we're going to see fight it out in singles and non-singles matches. But here's the thing: Short, as of right now, don't actually have a leader. The faction split doesn't allow you to pick one person in charge of everybody else. It's more of just a clean break. And so Short has come down after their victory, and Ethan Wilde has made it very clear, this is my faction. I'm the leader here, and I'm taking us all the way to the top. We are the best faction in the Stanford Wrestling Alliance, and everyone else just hasn't realized it yet. So if you get in our way, we're coming for you. And, you can see it here with a 5-star result clearly resonating with the fans. It gets Legend Killa over, so now both members of the Killas are over with the fans. A hot segment for Chort really gets everybody else involved and over, and that's a really nice Our Leader segment from this faction. It's certainly the start that they want as they continue to establish themselves in this SWA.
Short.
Short indeed. But we have a different faction feud making its way right now. This is Made in Japan versus Tosotsu Funo Sentai. And as we know, right, this is Tosotsu Funo Sentai. In this case, it's Mei Fukushima and Aiko Haruka. They have all formed together with one clear goal, which is that the Empress Kabuki has to be stopped. They have, she has reigned terror over this women's division. She is dangerous. She is a problem. And if someone doesn't stand up to her, if good women stand by and do nothing, she is going to hurt this wrestling federation. She's going to hurt the people around her, and like we can't let the Empress continue to reign like this. Meanwhile, Empress Kabuki, of course, is the highest ranked female wrestler within this promotion. She has been dominant during her time, has yet to lose a single match, and she is paired here with Talia Adler, who people would largely recognize as a manager in a lot of cases. She's the manager for most people in Made in Japan. Kaito Sakura is here, of course, being the manager of Heizo Ogawa and a couple other people as well. But Talia in the ring here to make sure that this is a fair 2v2 match. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I think this is pretty clear. Empress Kabuki getting the dub again, regardless of who's supposed to win. That's who I'm rooting for.
Interesting. You have had some predictions in this so far. You have yet to be correct. Is this the match that
I love
changes
that.
things?
I love that for me. It means I'll be correct next time.
Not this time though. It is Tsuno Sentai because very importantly, it is Talia Adler who gets pinned in this match, and Empress Kabuki is fucking furious. Her first loss in the SWA, she is screaming, she is cursing, she is causing a goddamn fit. She has never been more angry in her entire life, and Talia has no choice but to just watch as she storms out of the arena and backstage, and she knows she's not just getting an earful. This is going to be a problem because she has
She's
pissed
going to
off the
catch a
Empress.
chair to the back of the head, is what you're saying. Got it.
It's very much in play. You do not cause the Empress to lose, and it will be interesting to see what the consequences are. In the meantime, Mei Fukushima is starting to get over with the fans. A nice hot match here. Very nice. No holy shit moment or anything, which I guess is probably to be expected by the fact that there was no gimmick here. Walter really did not go for many gimmicks on this card. He's like, look, I spent my resources on getting the production facility, on getting a second producer. I don't think these matches need it. And we'll see what that ultimately means. Like I said, he is very happy telling the story that he's telling, regardless of what the game says. And this is the kind of match that you have to feel good about if you're Walter, right? Because clearly the game recognizes this is a faction feud that people want to see, and it is getting some love.
Indeed.
But we have a match between Assassino and Axel Dust. So far, Dominatus Tenebris is 0-2 in stopping competitors from earning a title shot at the World Championship at the next pay-per-view, Schools Out. Christopher Devlin has seen Assassino drop 4 matches in a row. This is meant to be his bodyguard, his protector, the one that is meant to be the wall through which no fools pass through. And Axel Dust is one of those fools that, Christopher Devlin believes he's disposed of. He shouldn't have to wrestle against Axel Dust anymore. Assassino, do your fucking job. That's the story leading into this one.
I really hope Assassino does his job, man, because he's not going to have one for much longer if he doesn't, which is why I'm saying Assassino takes the dub home.
There you go. There's a prediction that is going to come through. It's going to be 3.25 stars again. I think this is the no gimmick matches. That's about what the score is going to look like, even for these good matches here. But it is a big one for Assassino. He needed the win. He needs something on his record, proving that he can stand up to some of these other competitors. And that is one person that has been stopped from fighting Christopher Devlin. And you have to think that Devlin is pleased to see Assassino be the unruly face of carnage that he was always meant to be.
Indeed.
Yes. But we have a main event package coming here. Muhammad Fox, it's his first time with the company. Not quite what you were hoping for. I mean, 4 stars is still very good, and compared to some of these other segments, this is probably going to make it into the end card, even with the producer hit. But it does packs. You will see Wesley Lee Morris, Tyler Dynamite. We saw it on the last weekly. We're going to see it again in the main event tonight. The back and forth there has been insane. And we'll see if perhaps Wesley Lee Morris can get revenge after Tyler's won the last 2. But before we get there, we have the Theodore Vincent Heritage title. This is a 4-way match. Cobra Gaston, Viper Gaston, Devontae Harrell, and Rocca. Cobra Gaston, obviously the title holder, and he's held it for 5 months now. He's had it basically since this was envisioned. He has yet to lose a match, and with Livia Scribner, his girlfriend, at his side, he doesn't believe he's falling anytime soon. But of course, his brother Viper Gaston would love to change that. Viper has been struggling so far to make a name for himself as an upper mid-carder. Feels like he's being left behind by his brother and is very bitter about that. Devontae Harrell, of course, a very charismatic wrestler, yet to get his own first win, falling down the chart as a member of Prodigy. Tyson Morrisseau leading him here, hoping that this can be a turnaround for what his fate has looked like.
Wait, he fell out of Chort?
Devontae Harrell, no, he's a member of Prodigy. Devontae's
You said he fell down the chart. I'm sorry, it was a bad
so,
joke. Apologies.
you know what? That's on me. Sometimes you miss, and it's worth taking the shot because you miss every shot you don't take. But I'm gonna have to call that an oopsie poopsie on my
It's all right. Thanks for making me sound stupid. Much appreciated.
Look, I do my best, buddy. But Rocca here is their last competitor, a 3-3 neutral wrestler. The submission machine would love to be a main eventer. Who do you think's coming out on top of this one?
I see Cobra, which means I think Cobra wins. I unfortunately, I think it's that simple. I don't think that this cash in. Well, I could see maybe a cash in happening. Like maybe he's about to lose, but the cash in comes through. Um, I feel like it's got to be Cobra. There's something happening here with Cobra, whether he wins or there's a cash in and something crazy happens, which is also a Walters special. I would love to see that too. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe it's cash in moment and someone comes in and does something absolutely bananas. I don't see Viper being the guy that beats Cobra. It's hard to imagine Devontae with where he's at pulling that off right now. And I think Rocca actually, despite the win rate, would be the most likely to come away here with like a surprise victory and make something happen within the promotion. But again, it's just really hard for me to imagine any of that right now. So my bet, I'm putting a really unfair bet down. Either Cobra wins and everything moves on for the pay-per-view, or there's a cash in here and something wild happens.
Well, you're gonna be kind of half right because Cobra is
Okay.
gonna win, but something wild is
Okay.
also going to happen. Is that he's going to win thanks to a distraction from one
Okay.
Colton Scribner.
Mr. Colton Scribbies.
And that is a nice win there. The distraction does hurt the ranking, but a lot of positives there do give Cobra Gaston a nice victory. It's going to be 4.25 star. And at the end of this, you see, Cobra, he kisses his girlfriend. Livia's on one side, and you see Colton lifting up Cobra's hand on the other. But as the camera zooms in, you can see the brass ring clearly visible on Colton's other hand. and we'll have to
Hmm.
see where that ultimately leads. But for now, it is the three of them celebrating in the center of the ring. Another well earned may depend on your perspective, I suppose. But Cobra's going to take that win to the bank all the same.
Listen, if you got the Scribble family in your backyard, all right, and willing to help you out, then you're the winner, and that's that.
Now, we do have one more World Championship qualification match. Again, no gimmick because you have to earn it without any of those extra details here. It is Jules Murphy versus Drew King, and this is a feud we've seen for a while, right?
Yep.
Drew King believes that Jules' talents are wasted with the lads. He's not given opportunities like he deserves, right? Look at how many people got chances before you. Look at how Neon Wings have gotten chances. Look at how fucking Chase has gotten chances. And you have been left astray. But if you were part of my kingdom, that would never happen. Meanwhile, Jules Murphy, he's zoning all that out. He thinks Drew King is full of bullshit, and he's here to prove that he doesn't need Drew King's help to be a title contender. And earning a shot tonight at the world's title match would be a huge win for him. So given our two competitors in front of us, do you believe the King of the Kingdom is pulling off the
I,
W, or are we
I think
seeing
the
the
King of the
Terminator?
Kingdom is coming in here. I mean, I don't think it's an upset. I think the King of the Kingdom is going to win this match because of what it means. I do think Jules Murphy needs a little bit of help. I mean, he's got Raven next to him, but I think he's going to come to see the light here, which is that he needs someone that will actually work him toward his talent to getting that title shot. And beating Drew alone, I don't even know that would do it by itself.
Well,
And so I think Drew King wins.
to be clear, it is a world title qualification match. If he wins this,
I still think Drew King wins.
you still think Drew King wins. Well, I have some bad news for you because Jules Murphy is indeed winning this one. It's a 4 3/4 star
I don't
match.
believe you.
Jules Murphy, look, here's what you need to know. By him winning this match, it is now a fatal 4-way for the World Championship title against Christopher Devlin at Schools Out. And oh, by the way, every single person that got through to earn their slot tonight did so against a member of Dominatus Tenebris. And you know what all those baby faces who just earned their spot have in common? They're all
What's
members
that?
of the lads.
Ah, yes. Okay. So got it.
It
Understood.
is 3 lads versus 1 Christopher Devlin. Is that enough to finally take him out? Is that enough to finally unseat the world champion? We will have to see. But the only Dominatus Tenebris member who does their job tonight is Assassino, which congrats to
Good
him.
for him.
Yeah, he needs it. He's needed it for a while.
He really needed that dub bad, huh?
But Walter needed that holy shit moment. That's his second of the night. Jules Murphy getting up from Drew King's finisher and asking him to hit another. You love to see that. It's a nice overness boost for him. And we will see what this means for Drew King. The feud is not over yet. There's still time for him to come back and win this one. But Drew King, the King of the Kingdom, is currently 0-6 right now. And I don't know what that means for his strength as a ruler, how long the Kingdom faction are going to tolerate that. But we'll have to
Yeah.
see because we're on our main event tonight. And of course, we have Wesley Lee Morris versus Tyler Dynamite. Wesley Lee Morris is, of course, a member of Chort. He recently split from Eternum and is very much looking to get his first win in this feud against Tyler Dynamite. It was a big back and forth, right? They had 2 double pins for their first 2 matches. And then finally, Tyler got the first clean win. He got another one last week. Tyler has had the feud so far. And with a guy like Tyler, a 4'4", 26-year-old heel, you see why. But Wesley Lee Morris is like, you know what? Here's the thing. I know that I can beat you. And I'm going to make sure I bring someone to the ring who will make sure that this is a fair and balanced match. And he has brought in Ethan Wilde, who may or may not be the leader of Chort. So given that, who do you think's winning this one?
I think it's Wesley Lee Morris.
Yeah, of course it is. Look, he brought in his ref friend, Ethan Wilde. Make sure, he looks the other way when Tyler looks like he has the advantage. But make sure to give a quick count to Wessie when he gets Tyler Dynamite in an uncomfortable position. That is a nice victory for him. It's a holy shit moment. Wesley Lee Morris hitting the finisher off the top rope. A nice bit of experience for the special referee match. And at the end of the day, it's going to be 4.25 star for Walter. So not, the highest scoring card we've seen, but I think one that he can be relatively happy with given the spend, right? He spent very little
Hmm.
on this card. There were not a lot of gimmick matches. It seems like he's saving up to make Schools Out as good as it can be, given the amount of resources he just put in. So
Hell yeah.
we'll see where this goes. But I am certainly excited for that Fatal 4-Way World Championship match. Christopher Devlin, Jules Murphy, Chase, and Connor Creedon. I know who I'm rooting for, but maybe I'm a little bit biased in that. But with that, we move on to our next competitor, Eduardo. The Campeonato de Luchasaur also got 4.5 stars after rescoring last week. So it is time to see what the road to Deadly Gambit looks like. Are you ready to see what Eduardo has in store for us?
I can't wait to see what Eduardo's got in store for us. And I can't wait to see that score will be exactly 1/4 star below mine.
We will have to see if that is true. But it starts with a Nova title shot on a pole match because Kyle Cage and Isamu Masucci, they've been going back and forth for a while. Isamu Masucci, obviously a well-respected competitor, a face of the company, someone who at one point held the world's title for this operation. But he has yet to get a win recently, and Kyle Cage also struggled. They have not had a lot of 1v1 matches. It's been mostly multi-man matches that have gotten them there so far. Both of them really want to win, and both of them saw the Golden Teddy Bear match last week for the Nova Championship and said, hey, we deserve a shot at the title at Deadly Gambit. We would have won this match. Either one of us. I believe, Isamo's arguing for himself, Kyle's arguing for him. Each of them believe very strongly, had they been in the ring, they beat Eagle, which, given your opinion on Eagle from last week, I imagine you probably agree with.
I do agree with.
But
I will
also,
never not agree with.
ultimately, Eduardo said, look, only one of you gets a shot at the Nova Championship at Deadly Gambit. So between these two competitors, both of whom are 4-4s, relatively young, both hungry to prove themselves, who do you think is getting the nod?
Oh, this is rough. I'll be honest. If I had to pick one right here, right now, it would not be Isamu Masucci. Okay, it would really be Kyle Cage. I think building Kyle Cage up in this match, him getting a win over Isamu here, they both win. I think they both win. I think the match looks good. I think worst case scenario, Isamu loses a little bit of popularity, doesn't risk his face of the company status. And even though he's 0-4 here, gives him kind of that wake up call that he's got to start finding opponents to rebuild his status and get him up there, while simultaneously giving Kyle Cage that title shot opportunity that he deserves as the sort of up and comer here. And again, between these two, there are a lot of stats very similar. Isamu obviously being a little higher. I just want to see Kyle Cage get the win, though. See someone else get that shot.
You know what? You want to see Kyle Cage win. And unlike with Eduardo, you're starting off your prediction strong. This is indeed a Kyle Cage W. It's 4.75 star,
Let's
which is going to
go.
level up the pole match, decreases the injury rate, which is one of those numbers that's in the background because I'm pretty sure pole matches just say anything is possible. They're pole matches.
Yep.
Eduardo, I'm sure watching this is going to be very frustrated because he needs another 5-star pole match in order to fulfill his company requirement. And 4.75 is a very infuriating amount to get.
There's that 1/4 I was talking about. It's right there.
Yeah. But look, Isamu, he's going to be fine. A little bit of overness and morale is worth nothing compared to the boost that Kyle gets. And Kyle Cage will now be competing against Eagle for a Nova title shot, a chance at the title at Deadly Gambit. So congrats to him for earning that. The UK's best, doing what he can in this match. But, the TGI was a huge moment, right? We all agree the Grand Invitational was one of the few tournaments that is completely unbiased. We don't get to choose who wins. Hae Lee had to fight her way through the gauntlet. And Eduardo said, you know what? There should be a belt for this because Hae Lee proved that she's the greatest. And so we're giving her the greatest championship belt. So, using this belongs to you segment, the new belt has been established and has been given to Hae Lee. So she is the first champion that this belt will have. It's a 5-star segment, and it would have been higher than 5-star if Vince Bailey hadn't fucked it up. Um, which just says so much about how hot Hae Lee is as a performer right now. Um, well earned, I would say, right?
Yeah, I agree. Great segment. I mean, obviously the producer focus hitting it a little bit. Not your favorite, but still 5-star. No, no, nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. It's and like I think Hae Lee, I think building off of the TGI title is a really smart decision by Eduardo because you want
Yeah,
the Grand Invitational to matter. And here, there's a belt entirely dedicated to the fact that you won this. I think that's pretty cool storytelling. Um,
100%.
Now we move on to a submission match, and this is a blow off match between Ishikami and Jason Cortez. We learned last episode of our weeklies that Jason Cortez is part of the School of the Phoenix, right? He is studying under Archangel de Fuego um, and very much wants to prove that the Phoenix style is the best way to wrestle. I think he has been trying to get um, Ishikami into Sagrada Familia the same way that we saw Phantom Troop being added last week, right? We can
Yeah.
give you opportunities. We can build you up. We can make the fans love you, Ishikami. And meanwhile, Ishikami's like, I don't need you. I can stand alone. I can prove myself in this company. And sure, I may be 1-5 right now, but you're only 1-3, and we're both very similarly talented, very similar age wise. I don't need you. So, this is the last match of this blow off. Either Ishikami is joining La Sagrada Familia or Jason Cortez is going home empty handed. Who do you think he gave the feud to?
I think that, ooh, this is tough. I mean, I think the best argument here is for Jason Cortez to win and Ishikame to join. I think that would be a really cool moment to happen. It builds up the faction reputation. It would obviously ingratiate El Arcángel de Fuego, to Jason for a long time as a student, and I think Jason just benefits the most out of getting the win here. Like I still think it's possible to push him over just on a good match. But I really love the idea of the faction feud ending with Ishikame being forced to join, or not being forced, but joining the faction. However, the narrative flavor rolls out. I would love to see it happen. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I would love to see that mechanic function and happen.
I understand where you're coming from, but here's the thing, buddy. Jason Cortez, he's not coming at this from a wholesome perspective, right? He does not care for Ishikami. And that hate and spite in his heart is going to get in the way. Ishikami does indeed stand strong. Unfortunately, the submission match seems to have decreased the effect here, and it is only 3.5 star. Um, I don't think that was quite what Eduardo was hoping for, but he did get
Hmm.
an increase to the headhunting feud in the future. It's a 4.25 star blow off. I think this was a very like the fact that we only had 21 hype heading into this
Yeah,
match, given that this feud's been running for a while. It,
yeah.
I think it was the right choice to blow it off. It'll be cut from this scoring, and that's fine. Um, but Ishikami, it's a big overness boost for him, right? Jason's going to 78, but now Ishikami's at 79. And with the morale boost there, it is very possible that Ishikami, with his next feud, pushes himself into the main event. So we will have to see what Eduardo has in store. But next up, we have a new feud on our hands Ivy Chavez versus Juno Ripshaw. And I have to say, Xander, I have made some incorrect assumptions because you might think Mrs. XPW stands for a former extreme professional wrestling faction that may or may not have been deleted to make room for everything that our players have been up to. But Eduardo made it very clear to me this has nothing to do with any faction that may or may not have existed in the past. Juno is an exponentially powerful wrestler, and that's why she has the XPW tag. It's that simple. And I have no
I
idea.
see.
That's on me. I didn't do my research into Juno Ripshaw. That's on me. But Mrs. Exponentially Powerful Wrestler, very much hoping to prove herself against Ivy Chavez, right? Juno believes she's the best. She is, you know, has put together some work. She is a very talented 4'4", 25-year-old heel, even if she hasn't won some matches in a bit because she was feuding against some very powerful faces. But meanwhile, Ivy Chavez, Mrs. America, she also believes that she is the best because she stands for America, and America is the greatest country in the world, which is an interesting thing for a face to say in a South American promotion. But you know what? Ivy Chavez knows how to sell it, damn it. And she may be 1-7 in her career, but she believes that she has plenty to offer this promotion. And if she's getting closer bit by bit to getting over with the crowd. So with this street fight match between
Juno
these
Ripshaw.
Juno Ripshaw. Okay. Well, here's the thing when you only give the name is that I can't tell you exactly why you're wrong, only that you are wrong. Because Juno at this
Well, no, I was actually going to say now that you've pointed out that Ivy wins, that's who I thought was going to win. I said Juno Ripshaw loses. I just didn't say the last part. You didn't hear it. That's fine. I was correct.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's on me. I clearly rushed through it.
Yep. Yep.
It
I definitely wasn't pausing and only saying the name so that I could be right either way. That didn't happen.
Interesting. Well, I have to take
Yep.
your word for it by the nature of the exact dynamic that you described. It,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's a nice win.
Those are the rules, naturally.
It's a nice win for Ivy, and I think the mistake is that Juno started this fight back when they were still in the locker room, because they're apparently next door neighbors in the locker room, and they hate it. They just don't like how the other conducts business. They don't like, they don't like having to be in such close proximity. So I think Juno spent a lot of her energy fighting backstage, and by the time they got to the ring, she was a little bit tired out, and Ivy took advantage of it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if I had a metal bat and my neighbor had, like a shovel and like our lockers, those are banging around, like only one of us can have the loud locker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it makes a lot of sense that they don't get along for the reason that was just outlined.
Absolutely. But we'll see if Juno can get revenge soon. But for now, it's a nice feud start between the two of them. We will have to see. 71, I think, is a very nice place to begin. But we have a second new feud on our hands between Dywick Damerla and Cameron Johnson. Dywick Damerla, of course, a 35-year-old 4-4 face who managed to squeak out a victory against Jordan Amir at the end of the day. But you also have Cameron Johnson, who beat up on Ed Thompson when that feud formally came to a close. They both want to cement their place in the company. They both believe that they'll need to overcome the other to get a full title shot. And Jason, you look at Dywick, right? Like he has the School of the Crab behind him with El Tigre de Leon. But Cameron doesn't believe that any of these schools of wrestling are any better than the other. He's never needed anything other than his daredevil instincts and his raw athleticism as the 22-year-old 4-4 heel that he is. So, who do you think is getting
Well,
the
that's
opening
why
blow?
I'm behind Cameron Johnson, because forget all these schools of wrestling. All you need is talent and will, and that's what Cameron Johnson is.
I want to tell you that you're right because that's a better lesson to teach the folks at home. However, in this case, it turns out the School of the Crab's real good because
I
Dywick.
really don't like Eduardo's elitism on this specific match, and I think he should rethink the lesson he's teaching the young impressionable viewers at home.
It's
And it's just I really am not a fan of that, and I think he should feel bad.
it's
And
so
really
funny
just reflect.
because you've been so upset the people with managers haven't won. And finally, the manager bonus actually matters, and you're like, "How dare he?" It's a 4.5 star feud. It's a nice submission, a 4.5 star match, I should say. A nice start to the feud. Just like the Ivy Chavez one, they're both starting at 71 hype, which is a great place to be when you're kicking off. No holy shit moments, and I'm gonna tell you, Eduardo, when he made this card, says, I need 2 holy shit moments to feel good about where I'm at with the money he invested, getting the production facility and getting that second producer. And we are halfway through, and that has not been done yet. So we will have to see if his last matches can close that out, even though the ratings have obviously been in a very good spot. And here's another
I would
one.
like his viewers to check PayPal.
Well, we do have Liam Draco versus Nightmare Blue here. And Nightmare Blue basically came out and said, I need a new challenge because I just beat Ty Flaw in a feud. And I need somebody who is better than that piece of trash who wasted my time in that feud we had together. And Liam Draco, of course, friend of Ty Flaw, close friend, comes out immediately and wants to defend Ty Flaw's honor, avenge the loss that Ty Flaw took at the last pay per view. He is a fighter. He is ready to perform, and he may have lost his last 3 matches, but that does not mean that he is not a force to be reckoned with as a 4-4 face at the age of 25. Is that enough to take down Nightmare Blue in this street fight match?
It's not. It's not. Nightmare Blue's going to collect the dub this time around.
Well, I'm glad that you explained yourself because when I click Liam Draco here, you're not going to be able to say that you were just messing around and just hadn't gotten to the right answer there. Liam Draco's taking the first win.
I was baited.
The game does seem to agree the good psychology there. You were baited, the fans were baited, and they loved having their expectations subverted, which is a nice place to be. Nightmare Blue, I'm sure, is not happy about losing this open challenge, and we'll have to see how he handles that. It is the effect increased, but there is no holy shit moment. But it's another feud that starts at 72. He's got three.
I feel like he's having a really good card, and maybe, just maybe, he's going to be able to take some kind of, star lead over you or I today. But I will be excruciatingly happy if he manages to not get a single holy shit moment tonight. Only because I will get to live with hearing the frustration in his voice. Even if he wins the card tonight, I'll know that deep down he's still mad, and that will sustain me.
Man.
There's no rivalry between me and Eduardo, but also there's a rivalry between me and Eduardo, if that wasn't clear.
I have to say, you said when we first started doing this competition that you were going to be a heel announcer, but I don't think you've ever been more of a heel than the pettiness that was just in what you just said. So well done, my friend.
It's
You
my pleasure.
Well, we do have a video package highlighting Conrad Supernova and Philip Keller. I guess check your PayPal.
Dude, check PayPal, man. That is exactly what I paid for. All right, I would have it no other way.
Oh man, I guess that and the Ishikami are the 2 things that are going to get dropped, but not the start that he wanted for his new producer here. At least Vince Bailey's got his stuff together. Maybe Philip will learn some things and he'll do better next time. But
No,
um,
he won't. He'll check PayPal.
well, we'll have to see. But we've got another match right now.
Oh,
This is
sorry. With him, it's not PayPal. I Venmo him.
That's true. Yeah, I know. PayPal's for my producers.
Yes, exactly. That's your producers.
But for now, we've got a tag tables match between 2 top-tier faces in the company. We have Here and Now, which is Noah and Ryota's actual tag name, and the Constellation. The Constellation got the last win between the two of them. It was the start of this feud. These are 2 top face factions trying to prove who deserves the title shot. It is the
This
only
is the top.
these are
These two.
I mean, they're incredible workers. Every competitor in this match has a 4-star work rate. And that's before we take into account
Well,
any tag team specialist bonus that comes
did
with
you
it.
consider that I wanted Eduardo to feel bad about this card, even though it's doing well, and that's why I'm going to continue to make fun of it?
I did consider that, yes. But I also considered that this is the only face versus face feud in the company. And there is a lot of respect between these two. Like, they're not, they want to outmaneuver each other. It's just one of those, like, look, there's one spot left. We respect what you do. You respect what we do. But only one of us is getting that shot. So,
Well, and that's why this match is going to suck. Too much respect.
do you think the Constellation gets their second victory here? Or does
Of
Here and
course I
Now
do.
prove
I
that
don't
they
think
are
the
here and
Constellation
now?
win because Eduardo doesn't like it when teams with a manager win, and he already gave somebody with a manager a win tonight. So naturally, of course, the Constellation win, and there's probably only one table broken.
So Here and Now win this match, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 4-star match. Um, and we don't
Is there a
get a
holy shit
holy
moment?
shit
No, there isn't
moment.
because there was only one table broken.
Oh man. That's brutal. It's not quite the match he was hoping for, I'm sure. Only 4 stars, but I think
It's
it
the match I was hoping for.
it's certainly better for the feud. I think it's good to see the back and forth between these two. Getting this to 77. I'm sure this is not the last we've seen. It can be hard sometimes to get fans behind two faces because they can be too nice. They can be too kind to each other. But they're both clearly hungry for the win, and both
Yeah, I mean,
Matthew.
it makes sense. Batman didn't like Two Face either.
Look, the School of the Crab clearly coming through tonight. But we move on to another tag feud, and this one I believe, we're looking at Phantom Troop versus Lethal Tempo. Phantom Troop, of course, as of the last weekly, just joined the La Sagrada Familia, who promised, like, look, you join us, we'll make sure you learn what it takes to be a real champion. We will set you up for success. And they need it against Lethal Tempo, a duo that has crushed them so far. Skull Dreads and Gina Akatani, both incredible wrestlers as individuals and as a team. And they have had Phantom Troop's number in this rivalry that has had a couple back and forth matches already. But Phantom Troop, they've got the boost from having joined La Sagrada Familia. Do you think they're able to capitalize on, or does Lethal Tempo extend their lead?
Man, this is really, really hard for me. I'm always like, I have to root for Lethal Tempo. I would love to see Phantom Troop win. I actually really like this match, despite me not liking the rest of this card because Eduardo is supposed to lose to me this week. But I really like this match. And I love the narrative that you can build here with Phantom Troop getting this win over Lethal Tempo right now. It would be so huge for them. It would propel them so far up. Lethal Tempo would take a loss. It wouldn't be devastating. Obviously they probably wouldn't be happy about it, but I love what you do here building Phantom Troop up. That being said, Lethal Tempo attack too fast. They just don't stop. And once they get going, all right, they're throwing everybody through tables. So, I'm going to have to root for Lethal Tempo despite me loving the narrative if Phantom Troop win.
I respect turning towards Lethal Tempo because I do think, looking at that overness, they would benefit from a win here. This is not one of those things where there's only one side that can really get a W. But for the Phantom Troop narrative to work, they need to show that La Sagrada Familia has helped them and boosted them a bit. And it's going to lead to a big morale boost, which they needed. Lethal Tempo, very unhappy losing here. That's a morale
Yeah.
hit that they were not looking for. And 3 3/4 star match means that something under 4 stars is going to give. The tables effect decreased for this match, and still no holy shit moment. So Eduardo is proven to be.
You'll love to see it unless your name is Eduardo.
Yeah, he's gonna be. I don't know what he's gonna be more upset by: the fact that the game didn't give him a holy shit moment, or that you actively encouraged the game to not give him even a singular bone in this card
And
that he's
and we
built.
can be honest that's the game's really just listening to me here. Because it does that and it's my fault and I want him to remember that.
Canonically,
And
you are the game's favorite. This has been proven in a lot of RNG moments over
What?
multiple months.
Me?
Yeah.
No way.
Specifically you. Yes, that is indeed. That is a
What?
direct
What?
accusation. Now, before we let our heel caster here get too far into his laugh, his evil laugh, we do have the main event, the Campeonato Antu Championship, a ladder match between Jordan Namir and Adriano Cicelli. Adriano Cicelli, of course, a great champion for this belt, lost it not very long ago. After fighting his way from an 0-2 record to a 5-2 record, losing his first match to Jordan Namir at the last pay-per-view. It hurts, and Adriano is mad about it. He wants to earn his title back. He's brought his guitar to the ring. He is ready to win over hearts and minds and grab that belt from the ladder. But Jordan Namir, he's been waiting for this opportunity. He is the Phantom Executionist, a 25-year-old 4-4 heel who struggled to get that real title shot. And now that he's had it, you know he's not going to let go without giving it everything he's got. So between these two incredibly talented competitors, who do you think Eduardo
Listen,
give the names
I
to?
think it's a great thing that Adriano Cicelli brought his guitar because he can play himself and the audience a nice sad song when he's sitting at the bottom of that ladder crying as Jordan Namir climbs up once again and grabs his belt. Because Jordan Namir has taken this one. I like what Eduardo has done with Jordan Namir. Again, I will give him the slightest of props because I really do think pushing Jordan Namir as a face of the company, continuing to work him through with this belt, I think it's all great stuff. I love seeing it. I love Jordan Namir right now. I think he's hot. I think he's going to win this one. I think Adriano Cicelli is going to feel bad about it, and that's okay. And I'm also predicting that this will be the one holy shit moment that Eduardo gets tonight.
Honestly, I hope that he gets one. You are correct. It is a 6-star match, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to a full star of random events. And oh boy, if there's any match you want to get the 6 stars, it is the one in the main event now that the game has fixed itself. And hey, look, it is the one holy shit moment. Jordan Namir
You're welcome,
suplexing.
Eduardo. I threw you a bone.
Yeah, you did. Again, this is really, you're not beating the allegations that the game loves you more than the rest of us because only when you gave permission did it give you the holy shit moment. But hey, he also gave Campeonato Antu a silver belt. The prestige has increased, and that's got to feel good
Let's
as well.
go. No, that's good stuff. Again, I really like what he's been doing with this belt. I like Jordan Namir. I think that this entire narrative push here, he deserved the 6 star match on that.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
And that's 4 3/4 stars. Well earned
So
indeed.
I
Uh,
look forward to winning the card tonight with 5 stars.
well, we'll see. You only need 4.5 to maintain pace since you got the win last time. But certainly, I mean, I think that 6 star match was really important.
No, it
Uh,
was big. It was big. But I'll give him props because I really like that match. Again, I like what he's doing with that belt. I like Jordan Amir. I think that end of his promotion is really top notch. And again, I'm happy that I could allow the game to give him a single holy shit moment.
yeah, well, we'll have to see if you could be as kind to me as we
Nope.
head to this.
No,
No,
I'm just kidding.
harsh but fair, harsh but fair. Well, we will move on anyway because I am next. We both tied at 4.75, but I had to grade mine up because the game was bugged, and you just earned it straight up. So I felt like putting you in the last spot felt correct, even though I could complain at the game for being dumb and mean, because those are both true things that the game is sometimes. But we start with a few package because Alana Elise, Tijuana King. Everyone knows that after they lost their the belt at Final Destination, Tijuana King has not forgiven Alana Elise for this. She very much blames Alana for this going badly. And they fought last week 1-1, and Tijuana King in a street fight managed to take the upper hand. But this week, it's not just the two of them. Well, okay, this is not the match I meant to have next, but I guess this is fine too. I guess we'll get to that match in a little bit. God, I love when the game changes the order for seemingly no reason. I hope the match wasn't deleted entirely. That would be really whatever. But we'll see. We'll move on to the next storyline then, because Skull Tabaka and Tilly Cooper also have a very nice storyline going for them. Skull Tabaka, of course, a member of the Scourge of the Underdark, and while Tilly originally was a face. She made a heel turn towards this authoritarian patriot character, and while she had quite a few losses, she is on a mission to prove that she is criminally underrated, that she deserves title chances that she believes are being held back from her due to the fact that Lorena Lucier is currently the Sorceress Supreme. Her own faction leader, she believes, doesn't want someone as talented as Tilly Cooper to be competing for a title. Meanwhile, Skull Tabaka, just the masked maniac. She's not worried about any of the geopolitics here. She is a weapon that the Scourge uses to take down their foes, and that's why this only monster feud is what it is. But between these two competitors, who do you think emerges victorious tonight?
I like Tilly Cooper getting the win here. I think Tilly Cooper's got a lot set against her right now. I think she needs the win a little bit more in that regard, right? Like Skull is kind of an assassin,
Mm-hmm.
and comes in and takes people out. But I think Tilly's just a little too hot at this exact moment. So Skull comes out, looking for the put down, and Tilly's just a little more prepared, I guess, and ready to go for this because she's got so many cards stacked against her, and she's got the motivation to come out with the dub.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. It is Tilly that's going to win this. It wins the feud. It's a 4.5-star blow off match. Skull Tabaka taking a little bit of a morale and an overness hit, but tables almost leveled up. Only Monster getting some much needed experience. And oh, by the way, here's a holy shit moment as Tilly Cooper hits Skull Tabaka with 3 consecutive finishers. A big
And don't worry,
win
you're
for
gonna
her.
get a couple more of those. I got you. I got you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's
Yep.
very kind of you, and also cruel to Eduardo if he's watching this, which thankfully he probably isn't. Time makes fools of us all. I don't know that he watches beyond
I would
his
like
own
both of
stuff.
those things to be true, and that's okay.
That's fair. Well, here's the match that I thought we were leading into last time around. This four-way match: Tijuana King, Alana Elise, also joined by Denise Weston, who you might recognize as a member of the Chosen Ones, someone who needs to get over with the crowd in order to make our investors happy. Or actually, nope, excuse me. I'm getting her confused with somebody else. Denise Weston's just kind of around. She's a member of the Sky Sentinels, and she sure would like to win a thing. But Sumi Kabaya, of course, is the one that has really gotten the the upper hand so far. As a 4'4", 26-year-old face, she has yet to win a match, but she desperately wants to beat Tijuana King. She desperately wants to prove that she is a top competitor. Do you think Sumi finally takes it around here? Is this
I would love
Tijuana
to
King
see Sumi
pushing? Or?
finally get her win. Please finally give her a win.
Yeah, I am finally giving her a win. It is, I believe, I thought this was a blow-off match between her and Denise. If it was meant to be and it wasn't, then that's a damn shame. But as it stands, it's a hot match. Tijuana and Sumi feud goes hot, which is really nice because Tijuana King is not just feuding against Alana Elise, right? She is fighting for her life and to prove that she is the king of the Scourge of the Underdark. But of course, Sumi Kabaya, a very, very talented face, a very talented member of the Sky Sentinels, and someone who is going to benefit greatly from a win here tonight. So we're happy to see those overness bonuses and morale bonuses for everyone involved. In a 4.5-star match, I'll take it.
Looks good. Looks good.
Yeah. But more importantly, we have a new power in the midst. Arsenico said last episode that he was tired of the faction system, that he was tired of these leaders looking past the little people, right? Not giving opportunities to those who deserve it. He stands for something better than a faction. He stands for independence. And Monty Hendricks, Johnny Scott, and Ryu Otake, all of whom left the Western Watch last week after Prince Pretty Pink took over the faction, claiming that the Western Watch needed a leader, and with the injury that El Rey Loco sustained, he could not do that role. I may or may not have found there actually is a non-violent way to do that rather than usurped. You could just change leader rather than kicking El Rey Loco out of the faction. Oopsie poopsie. But
Oops.
it's been done. It may give me a different angle for the El Rey Loco return when that inevitably happens. But as far as this is concerned, this is everybody from the Western Watch, other than Jay Xavier. We'll have to see what ends up with him coming together. And apparently the crowd is not interested even a little bit. Huh.
Fab, if you would please check your PayPal. Thank you.
But see, I don't think
Also your Zelle.
I don't think Fab was the problem. I don't like these are charismatic wrestlers, right? Like Arsenico's a 4-3, but like he got 100% overness as per his new gimmick change. I don't know what happened.
Chase, not to interrupt you, but don't ruin this for me, okay? I did this. I caused this. You're welcome, and thank you, and you're welcome.
Why would I thank you for this? If you did cause it, then that's the last thing I would do.
Maybe a valid point. Maybe I don't care. You're welcome.
I guess what can I say except you're welcome in that series of circumstances. Well, what I can say is that Arsenico is not done, even though the fans were apparently not interested in the thing that is going to serve as the backbone for the next 6 months of my company.
No big deal.
He is
Small potatoes.
he is still a charismatic cult leader who is very much hoping to win over new souls, have them join in this independence movement. And he has targeted Adrian Lorenzo and said, Adrian, look, you're 0-5 right now. You have never been given a serious shot at a title match. The Southern Sentries have left you to rot because they're so busy paying attention to these tag teams that they're missing what's just right in front of them. Join me. Join Independence. We can be something bigger. And Adrian Lorenzo says, fuck you, man. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know what I've been through. You just come in here, put on some fancy robes, and tell me that you're leading some like new religion based around leaving everything that I know and matters to me? Fuck you. I'm not joining you. But this is the headhunting feud presented here. And given that both of these literally the same popularity, 1 year apart from each other, what do you give the
I'm
win
going to
to?
be honest. I think giving Adrian the win on the first match makes the most sense here. I'm metagaming a little bit, but I think giving Adrian the first win, he feels really cocky. He goes out there, and that's when Arsenico starts putting the hurt on him, to get him into the. I would love to see that happen. Now, if Arsenico just wins and is dominant, and you move Adrian to multiple losses, in order to accomplish the same goal, that makes sense too. Something tells me that, I just like the storytelling behind giving this guy his first win, and then he doesn't see one again until after he's forced to join this faction.
I see what you're saying, and I gotta be honest, in another world, that would have convinced me to change what I have written down. Because I think that makes a lot of sense. However, Arsenico to the fucking moon. And hey, it didn't matter.
Fair
It
enough.
turns out both of them got a huge overness boost, a huge popularity boost. It's 4 3/4 star. It's a hot match to start off a feud. And it's a nice submission match. So we'll take it as a W here. And Arsenico, buy Arsenico stocks. I'm just saying, if you're able to invest in
Buy the
Arsenico,
Arsenico stonks. They're going to the moon.
as someone who has seen the narrative Bible that is in store, buy Arsenico stock.
Are we talking? Are we talking? Like Dogecoin or GameStop or what kind of stonks are we talking here?
I hate that the only options you gave me were things that I fundamentally believe shouldn't exist. So I guess GameStop, because that was at least fun for a minute before it got really stupid.
I mean, I like GameStops. I'm not saying, I don't think that they shouldn't exist. Okay, that's a little excessive. I've had a lot of great memories buying used games at GameStop. Go buy stuff at GameStop. I'm just kidding. I don't have any GameStop stock. I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're welcome.
you know what my memory is of GameStop? Is
What's
GameStop
that?
telling me that 6 months after I bought Luigi's Mansion, it had depreciated from $49.99 to $2.59.
Well, you should have gotten good, okay? And maybe if you had, then, you know.
That I'd be as well off as GameStop? Probably.
hmm
That's really the
hmm
thing that
hmm
people strive for in today's day and age.
Listen, I totally didn't sell them like 9 games for like $3.80 once. Okay.
God,
It's fine. That never happened.
criminal. Criminal. But speaking of some criminals, highway robbery, looking for a tag submission match against Judgment Day. Highway robbery, of course, we had a three-way match with highway robbery, Judgment Day, and I believe it was no bullshit. But Judgment Day managed to peel off no bullshit, get a win. They lost to the Magic Missiles in a title match last week, but they are now here against Highway Robbery in a one-on-one. Highway Robbery, who of course were the defenders of the realm after injuring the Magic Missiles until Red Arrow returned from his injury and they won it back. So Judgment Day has not been able to get over that hurdle before. Is today when that changes?
No.
No. You no faith in Judgment Day. And you know what? That's fair because to be honest, I did a bad job setting them up earlier. But see, here's the thing. So I've written a narrative Bible since then. And I think it makes more sense to give it to Judgment Day. The game is unconvinced, though it did give an overness benefit to both, and Highway Robbery only lost 3 popularity, which is nothing in the broad scheme. It's a hot feud. Bryce Dannenberg now over with the fans. Hell yeah on that. And there's our second holy shit moment of the night. Bryce Dannenberg hitting Rob DiBiase with a lariat. Nice build for the Southern Sentries with that right there. So definitely some good to take away from it. I'm not feeling great about the scores that I have secured so far on this card. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't
I'm
like.
I'm feeling okay about it. I'm feeling okay about your scores.
Oh, are you? That's good to hear, because that's the
hmm
feeling that most matters in this specific moment in time. Uh,
Indeed. Well, I'm gonna give you another holy shit moment, so you should thank me.
Well, here's someone who should be thankful is Jay Xavier, who was the other person who left
Mm.
the Western Watch. He turned to his fellow members of Liquid Steel, Brady Killjoy and LT Barone, and he said, "Hey, I have been, I don't, I feel lost. I know that this was originally like this kind of like alliance between us and the Western Watch, like your faction and mine. But I don't feel like the Western Watch is something I can believe in, but I believe in you because you're my teammates. And with us together, we can do anything." And the Eastern Elite have embraced him with open arms. He is now officially a member of the Eastern Elite, which would be a great feel good story for everyone except for those members of Larger Than Life, who you may recall is currently in a title feud with Liquid Steel and is also a trio that is sitting in the Eastern Elite. And you can see, while everyone else is celebrating and cheering, Ali Noble, Matthew Donovan, and Michael Himalayan, the 3 members of Larger Than Life, look just a little bit uncomfortable with this idea. Just a little bit like perhaps things are moving beyond what they were hoping for. Because now Liquid Steel is fully the Eastern Elites trio. This is not like, hey, the Eastern Elite has their own trio and they have this one alliance. Now they just have 2 trios. And it means that this Jester's Joust Championship tables match means so much more because you need to prove yourself here. If you lose to Liquid Steel here, then what are you even doing as a member of the Eastern Elite? But Liquid Steel aren't going down without a fight, and Jay Xavier, he's feeling great, he's feeling energized, and he's hungry to prove why the Eastern Elite were right to sign him. So given that, who do you think I gave the win to?
Liquid Steel.
That is indeed correct. Liquid Steel are getting the W. It's a five and
Holy
three quarter
moly.
star match. Man, I wish that that was my main event because I could really use that with some of the cards that came earlier. Um, but at the end of the day, I'll take a holy shit moment.
Mhm.
Brady
You're
Killjoy
welcome.
spitting in Ali Noble's face, and a nice defense of the Jester's Joust. And oh, by the way, my table's popularity increased. Go team. Also, by the way, the Eastern Elite getting a nice reputation boost because they added some members, which is good because here's the thing. Michael
Yo,
Himalayan, Ali Noble,
because
Matthew
here's the thing,
Donovan.
they're about to lose one.
They're about to lose 3
Oh
because
boy. Oh no.
because larger than life look at themselves and say, we can't just stay here and be the second best trio in our own faction. There are only 4 trios that exist in this company. 2
Hmm.
of them in the same faction, one of whom is the champion, one of whom keeps falling short. The definition of insanity is to keep
Yep.
doing the same thing and expect things to change. We can't be what we need to be and be working under the people we're meant to be. So
I
we have to
love
go.
this, by the way. I love this. I love this whole narrative that you've done with this middle of this card here. It's so good.
Yeah. And it boosts the feud to hot, which is huge because that was going to decide how much I really played into this. And oh, by the way, in case anyone is curious what the next step for Larger Than Life is going to be, the fans can see Arsenico waiting in the wings to talk to them further. So,
Oh boy.
so we will see what that means next week. But for now, we have quite the match in store for us. This is the Western Watch, Prince Pretty Pink versus Northern Nightmare El Muerte Blanco. But El Muerte Blanco said, look, you took over this faction. You believe you deserve to be a faction leader? You fight me. But not just me. I have my second in command here, and he's going to fight on my side, and you need to bring your second in command as well. And for Prince Pretty Pink, he looked at his remaining options, not as many as there used to be. And Lucas Meltzer is the one he went for. Lucas, very loyal to Prince Pretty Pink, believes that he's been given an opportunity at the Western Watch that he's very thankful for. And Meltzer made and Prince Pretty Pink made it clear: you keep with me, I'll take care of you. You're my second in command. I will make sure that you are taken care of moving forward. And you saw that Northern Nightmare came in second. El Muerte Blanco comes down. And La Bestia del Infierno was waiting for their music to hit. You could see him backstage, ready to go, hungry to get back out there in the ring and fight against Prince Pretty Pink, a guy that he currently has a title feud with. Same with El Muerte Blanco. But instead, it's Ashton Nieves' music that comes through. The current king of the Thunderdome, despite his injuries. Besides being pretty tired, I should say. He's not injured, he's just tired. El Muerte Blanco says, this is my second. This is a title holder. This is what greatness looks like. And we're about to prove it tonight in the ring. So, as La Bestia del Infierno can only look on, who do you think is taking the W here?
Listen, I told you this once. I'm going to say it again. I see Prince Pretty Pink. I root for Prince Pretty Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you're welcome to root for him. But here's the thing. He took a big swing last episode. And El Muerte Blanco is ready to put him in his place. It is going to lead to a 5.25-star match. It is going to lead to a hot match, boosting everything there. And unfortunately, no holy shit moment.
No, I gave you 3. You got enough.
I'll take what I got for sure. I do like here, it is both members, Ashton Nieves and El Muerte Blanco, stay up. This is a clean win from the Northern Nightmare, which, I mean, once Prince Pretty Pink went down, I mean, you had to know where this was going. But
Yep.
as the 2-on-1 match took hold, you saw La Bestia del Infierno storming out of the magically enhanced wrestling arena. He does not like that Ashton Nieves is in the middle of the ring celebrating that this is the role that he deserves. And we're going to have to see how that shakes out. But for now, that's a 5-star card. Let's fucking go. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
The scores came through for me at the clutch, I think. Just because like
Yeah.
I had the 5 1/4,
I,
5-star, 5 3/4, 5-star, like four
yep.
and three quarters, like, and it drops two, right? So it dropped the only two
Yeah.
bad segments I had. Holy, there we go.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you, thank you. So no pressure. You just need a 5-star card to keep up. That's all.
Yeah, no problem actually. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's easy. And I'm gonna get 3 holy shit moments.
Here's the thing. I think you are gonna get more holy shit moments than me because I know where your card is heading. Um, but I also do think there's a non-0% chance, given your main event tonight, that you could also tie me with 5 stars. But I guess there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
There is only one way to find out, and that's by clicking play.
That's true. And it starts with a 4-way elimination match between Gavin Evans, Xander Cage, Lethal Mark, and Ryan Fox. How did this match come together?
Yeah, so again, we're looking at a bunch of guys that are in the middle. They're feuding hardcore. Lethal Mark, represented by Asahi King, really a big part of the Lethal Weapon duo. But of course, his brother, is Lethal Chris, is out for quite some time. Will not be returning, so he's out here trying to get himself some solo wins. Most of his solo matches being, of course, in battle royales, hasn't been able to bust it out. We got him in a fatal 4-way here. There's some feuds going down. You got Xander Cage, you got Gavin Evans, and then of course you've got the illustrious Ryan Fox, someone that has been in a lot of, I don't want to say quite high profile matches, but he's been featured in a lot of mid profile matches,
Mm-hmm.
as a third man, as a fourth man. So the question really here is, can Lethal Mark do something with Asahi King behind him, the storied Asahi King, to overcome, these other talented wrestlers, or is it going to be the Gavin Evans Ryan Fox show? And then of course, Xander Cage is not someone to be forgotten about. His story has gone a long way, but right now 0-9. Is this the week where he finally gets his win and starts showing up? That's the question for you, Chase.
What's fun about this, right, is that you've taken a very different approach than Walter, right? Like Walter wanted Chase to lose. You have also made Xander lose quite a bit. And I'm not going to go into the psychology of that, but it is fascinating as a difference in perspective here. That said, I if it were me, I look at Gavin
Mm-hmm.
Evans. He's my 3-3. He's close to being a main eventer. If all other things were equal, that's the guy I give the win to because I think he's the one with the most upside. That
Mm-hmm.
said, I don't think all things are equal, and I think you went in another direction.
I did. Do you want to tell the kind people what direction that was?
Would you like me to reveal that? Yeah, you gave it to Ryan Fox
Yes,
because this was a blow off between Lethal Mark and Ryan Fox. So one of them needed to win this match. Unfortunately,
correct.
it did not go well. Um,
It went perfectly because the feud got blown off and I got my holy shit moment. All right, this feud needed to die. I'm gonna be real with you. Lethal Mark here has not been performing where we need him to,
mhm,
in the solos matches, and he's got to do some deep soul searching with the help of Asahi King. Ryan Fox putting him in the dirt here, not something people really were entertained by, other than, of course, where Ryan Fox gets out of the Lethal Marks finisher, and asks them, to run another. But we're gonna be real. Ryan Fox needed a win. He's
mhm.
he's a talented wrestler. He's making moves. Gavin Evans, this is not the last you're going to see him. This is not the last you're going to see as Xander Cage. But Lethal Mark needs some time. This guy has to figure out what he's doing in solos. And the fact that this match went low, we were expecting it. This is a match we had a feeling was going to get dropped tonight. The fact that it came out and got us a holy shit moment demonstrates that we're prepared for what's coming on the rest of this card.
That's fair. I do think the holy shit moment certainly helps. And yeah, you have freed yourself from a Lethal Mark feud. I don't feel great for where he stands moving forward, but you
All right, now
believe
this part sucks.
you.
William, what are you doing, my guy? I'm gonna be putting you in the bin with Tucker soon, bro. You better check yourself.
But it's such a bright future, Xander. Isn't that why these three came together?
Yes, yes. Okay, sorry. Getting into the what's going on here. So Sinister Tengu, Matt Payne, and Love Hendricks, they're they're they are coming out. These are guys that feel kind of left behind by a lot of the factions, by a lot of what's been going on. And they're coming together to form Bright Future. Young Revolution, the trio. They think they've got what it takes. Obviously, not everybody in here is super young. But this has been one of the only trios right now that's been contending with Brigantia, and they think that they might be the ones to get an upset and be able to take it away. They also think that they can start attracting people because they stand for something different than what a lot of the other factions in this promotion have. Conquest or Death, Burn It All Down, and For the People all have different ideas about how to rule. But at the end of the day, they want to rule. They want there to be order. They want there to be some kind of, leadership cast. Of course, Burn It All Down want to be at the top of a pile of ashes. But nonetheless, they all have visions for how they're going to whether it's conquer, whether it's be a benevolent ruler, whether it's to burn everything down, and even Juge and Brigantia to that extent are very much in the same vein of this sort of status quo. But these guys here, this power, they see themselves as someone that can sort of speak to an individuality amongst people and really be a different tack for that kind of leadership that this promotion needs. That's where they see themselves, and that's where they're headed.
That's fair. I do love that they are always presented as the young revolution, the bright future, despite the fact that Tengu is older than I think at least a third of your roster. But um, I look.
We ignore that fact.
We do ignore that fact, and I do hope.
Tengu's the veteran.
In the long run, I really hope it does pay off for you. I like what you're building there for sure. Um, and at the end of the day, I like seeing new factions come together. I think that's one of the most fun things that you can do in a wrestling promotion. And I hate that the fans are like, stop with these factions tonight. Neither you nor I got credit for the cool thing we just did. So we're both going to have to live with that. But we're also both going to move on now to this special referee match between Dietrich Mullen and is that Kenny Diaz? Purposely on
Much
the
to
show?
everyone's surprise, Kenny Diaz is in a match that has implications.
Wow. How did this happen? Did he like come to your back door and like play a boombox outside your window in the rain? Like how did
So I will say I had nothing to do with this, okay?
Okay.
Me, the promotion head, had nothing to do with this. A certain Kenny Diaz may have shown up on the doorstep of Johnny Hangtime
Mm-hmm.
in tears, crying and begging, all right, like the poor soul that he was. And Johnny, in his infinite benevolence as the emperor, okay, of this promotion, may or may not have made a personal phone call to me to discuss giving Kenny a little bit more opportunity. And maybe, just maybe, I, as the promotion lead, saw it as a great opportunity for none other than Dietrich Mullen to get a match of some caliber with another arguably talented wrestler. And of course, Vince Rivera asking to be here to referee this match between a rising star and the guy that he took the belt from.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you say, perhaps talented wrestler. I think Dietrich Mullins more than proved himself at this point. The 4-5 record. I mean, he's fought his way into the main event. Like he was a lower mid carder. This man, in less than 6 months, has climbed more than 200 points easy. And he's done so while only winning 4 out of 9 matches, right? Like, this
Yep.
is a man who not only knows how to put on a show when he wins, but he knows how to put on a show when he loses too. And he's doing it without a gimmick. There's no gimmick attached to this man. He's just Dietrich Mullen, and the fans love him for it. So I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that while you may be more kind to Kenny than you were, that kindness probably does not extend to a win against a guy as hot as Dietrich Mullen right now.
It sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. Dietrich's getting the win here.
Yeah, and that's 4.25 stars. It's a good match. A nice little boost there. It starts a feud. Got all the way to 51 from the opening match, which is pretty solid, all things considered. Kenny back to being dissatisfied. He was very upset that he lost this match, which is not going to help his case with you, I don't think.
Nope.
But
Don't care.
okay, that's
He
fair.
served his purpose. Good job.
Well, we'll see if he gets another shot against Dietrich Mullen in another context. It's Kenny Diaz, the Skull Collector, collecting them L's as of right now on a 7-match loss streak. I wonder what happened between the win and the 7 losses that might have led to this unforeseeable sequence of events.
Who could possibly know?
But we don't have time for that because we have Krieger versus Carson Gold. And I believe, is this a blow off match or is this just a developing feud that the fans need to be paying attention to?
I actually do believe this is a blow-off match because I'm pretty sure that this is when Carson was wrestling. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, obviously, Carson Gold, a 21-year-old 4-3 face who climbed up the ranks, won a couple battle royales, including one that gave him a title for a very short period of time. Krieger, however, he hasn't had a lot of matches in the ring, right? The 21-year-old heel has been more focused on managing Wijaya, Shofugino, and Vince Rivera. He's allowed himself to take a back seat to be more of like the manipulator type, right, of Hell, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah. Which is why I imagine now that he's back in the arena, this would be a really nice time to give the King of Hell a win and maybe push him up the card.
It sure would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Is that, I mean, that is the thing I wrote down. Have you changed your mind?
No, that's exactly what's happening. Krieger's
Okay,
getting the
thank
win here.
goodness.
Krieger has learned a lot from his time. Sorry to mess with you,
No,
but
it's all
Krieger
good.
has learned a lot from his time managing. He's starting to get a real deep understanding of where the other, faction leaders are at, where the talent lies within his opponents, and he is finding a way to execute, not just to ensure that Burn It All Down, with him as a core lieutenant, are finding the wins, but he himself can start bringing some glory in this promotion to his own faction that he has been
Absolutely.
working behind the scenes feverishly to promote further and further and make sure that they are on top.
Yeah, it's a big win for him. I mean, obviously the morale boost here is huge. It's nice for him to get a W and a nice main event push. Now both of them are main eventers. Carson Gold certainly does not look worse for wear, losing to the King of Hell in a street fight match. That is where you would expect the King of Hell to excel, and it's a nice W for him. But of course, Krieger doesn't even leave the ring because it's time to be Vince Rivera's manager, who, by the way, was a special referee not very long ago. I like to think that Vince was just kind of at the side watching Krieger's match, and they've just been kind of switching back in and out over the course of this
Yeah,
night.
listen, you'll notice something tonight, and that's that there's a hell of a lot of Burn It All Down members here. Okay, they have gotten a lot more free reign around the ring than they've ever had after winning their feud with Conquest or Death. And even though Conquest or Death are still on top by pretty much every metric, they have to give a wider berth now to Burn It All Down, who are starting to flex that muscle. And you're seeing it tonight. You saw a match with Krieger as the special referee, and then now, or then you see the Vince Rivera. You see, and now you're in another one where after Krieger won, you got Vince with Krieger here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but this time a different special referee.
Yeah. And Phil Hangtime famously loves people from Burn It All Down. That's what he's famous for, right? Is how much the Hangtimes
Yeah,
love Burn It All
as
Down.
we just established,
Yeah.
burn it all down and Conquest or Glory, or Conquest or Death, obviously having that feud that was just blown off.
Mhm.
And, there may or may not be some very talented wrestlers that are a bit salty at how that all got blown off, right? They were hoping that it would be blown off, of course, with Johnny at the end of the night, or one of the matches that happened at the end of the night, but instead it was a lower end match that blew it off and in favor of Burn It All Down. They felt that they got robbed, and Phil Hangtime, no fool, this guy wants to come in and see if he can upset the balance of power here between Jay Avalon and Vince Rivera. Vince, of course, being the member of Burn It All Down, supported by Krieger. Jay in for the people, but right now Phil Hangtime, he may not love for the people, but he sure does hate Burn It All Down.
Yeah, and it is for that reason I'm hoping. And it's really a hope more than anything. Jay Avalon, I love him to death. I hate his starting gimmick, but I love him to death. And he's 0-8. And I just ask, just once, can Phil Hangtime be what he needs to get a win?
Phil Hangtime, I'll be honest, is the only reason he gets this win. Because while it looks like Vince Rivera is putting the hurt on, about to close out another decisive victory, Phil may or may not throw a shot to the ribs, tripping over Vince and giving Jay Avalon enough of time to recover for him to come up and get the dub.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big win there. And look, that pushes him into the main event, but Vince still gains. It may only be 4.25 star, but it's a very nice popularity boost for both. It's a nice hot match, which you love to see between these two competitors. It does blow off this feud as well, which is why Jay got that big boost. No holy shit moments since the opening match, but that's three
That's all right.
feuds
I'm getting two
you've
more.
gone from. Okay, you're getting two more. He has called his shot, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. And you're almost
I,
at
I,
gold
I
for main
think.
event ready. So that's something there. But we have quite the match in store for us here. Krieger again. He's just staying out there. He's not leaving the arena. He's just like gotten
Nope.
himself a nice folding chair, just waiting in between shots to get back
Again,
as a manager. But it is
Krieger also now furious, of course, that he just lost that last match.
It's true. But we do have it is a triple threat tag casket match. Um, and here's the trio that we have in hand. I mean, Hangtime Heresy are in this match. Are they the favorites, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Hangtime Heresy, other than giving up their title to the Castle Crashers, they were dominant. They were absolutely decisive, and this is kind of a weird moment where we're seeing Hangtime Heresy competing in a tag match where there's no belt, and it's almost entirely because the side of Elliot and Eric have been actually working toward their own solo goals since that loss. But here, they see an opportunity. They've had a huge feud with Vinland Saga, okay? And now it's them with Set Fire returning in a huge tag match against with some of the most talented tags, but no belt on the line.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, they say, oh, but there's something on the line. Whoever ends up losing here is going to end up in the casket. You've got the onslaught feud, you've got the new challenger feud, and then you've got the main event ready feud. Between Bear and Executioner.
Hmm.
So again, this is a faction leader with Set Fire, Executioner Goro, putting the hurt onto Vinland Saga, who of course have been in numerous massive tag team belts, and then essentially the de facto core lieutenants of the conquest or death. So again, this is arguably some of the most important people in the entire promotion, all in one tag casket match.
Absolutely. Now, look, I love Vinland Saga. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say, with the star power on display here, they're not winning this match. In
Yeah,
fact, I imagine
unfortunately,
they're going in the casket.
they're not winning this one. Yep.
But between Hangtime Heresy and Set Fire, I could really see you going either way. You really do a great job of protecting Executioner Goro. The fact that he's lost both his tag matches so far feels like something that I could see you wanting to fix, especially because Sho Fujino could really use a boost to his overness. Hangtime Heresy, like if this was a few months ago, I'd say, well, they're going to win because of the hang times, and the hang times always win. But I feel like you're painting a story at this point that says that the hang times can't always win, or they're not going to be at the point where maybe they start picking at each other to get opportunities. Is this a set fire victory tonight?
This is a set fire victory. You've read it pretty well, and I'll say there is something building here, right? The Elliot and Eric have been arguing nonstop with Johnny
Mm-hmm.
that they feel they deserve more opportunities, that they feel that they deserve shots at bigger belts, that they even feel that they might deserve a shot at his belt. And Johnny, watching his two brothers lose to Executioner Goro after the feud, he is furious. He is disgusted with their performance, and he cannot believe that they would lose this match against Executioner Goro and Sho, who hadn't won a tag team match yet.
Yeah,
And even though they were able to put on good performances against Vinland Saga, it means nothing to him in comparison to Executioner Goro once again building up his reputation, building up his acclaim, and getting a win here.
it's very funny because if you told me heading into this match that only one of the members of Set Fire had a tag team specialist, I would have bet money on it being Sho Fujino. But I think he just like, look, Executioner Fujino, Goro is the ring general. He needed to learn how to communicate with his second in command. It's worked out tonight. It led to another holy shit moment. It led to a ratings boost for casket matches moving forward. And it led to a hot match that boosts everyone's overness. So maybe some good progress for Sho Fujino in the background. I think everyone else was already so over, but you love to see a 4 3/4 star match that gives a popularity boost to everybody. So well done
Yeah.
there. But now we've got a feud package between Azaki Cordova and Braden Castle. Why did you choose to highlight this feud?
Yeah, so Azaki and Braden have been throwing down as well. Braden has still been pushing his own solo goals. Despite being a member of the Castle Crashers, him and his brother, in a lot of the same regards, see themselves very much like Eric and Elliot. They have their tag championship, they have their tag acclaim, but they also feel that they merit a lot of consideration as solo wrestlers. And Azaki being that guy that just took this belt, just started to run with it. In what was considered a massive upset for the cruiserweight championship. Braden wants two belts. I mean, he wants to have the tag belt and a solo belt. He wants to cement himself as one of the key members of this promotion. He wants to be considered as someone building his own dynasty to come. And maybe even in the future, becoming what Johnny is now. He really does see himself in that light. And Azaki is here to say, listen, guy, I've got this belt right now. I just got this thing, and there is no way in hell I'm giving it up to you just because you've got designs on a dynasty.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot on the line, right? I don't believe this is a blow off, but this is a not your place feud. The loser of this feud is out of the faction. So the stakes are beyond just a title match. Not that a title match would not be enough stakes, but obviously, if you're Braden Castle, you need to prove that you belong. Imagine only one half of Castle Crashers having to leave the faction. What happens to his brother? It would be, I mean, catastrophic. But
It would indeed.
Azaki, I do feel like has a lot going on for him. And I think Big Lots, we can all agree, is more of a face store than a heel store. I don't actually know if that's
Absolutely.
true, but I
Absolutely. Listen, we're not going to pretend. Big Lots favors the faces, and that's why Azaki is getting the win today.
and that is it was an interesting ad campaign when they started with that. But I think the wrestling fans really enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing which brand names we get each week, but I also look forward to this interesting story mark here. It's a 4 3/4 star match. It does lead. You said you had two holy shit moments left. Here are your two. You called it.
Yep.
Both started with a battle of the forearms before kicking each other's heads off. You love to see that. You love to see the brawl match increase, which decreases its injury rate. It again, they don't do a great job of displaying like the specific stats for things like a brawl match and a pole match, but I'm
Yeah.
sure you're glad to hear that the injury rate you weren't aware of is less than it used to be. So,
Very happy about it, in fact.
but Alexis Kovac comes to the ring, and it looks like Hueso de Cabra is his new manager. Welcome back, Hueso de Cabra.
Yes, Hueso de Cabra has been sitting on the sidelines, really trying to get a feel for how he wanted to get involved. One of the most legendary wrestlers in any promotion, but wasn't sure what to do. I mean, just very bluntly, it's hard to know where to jump in when you've got a guy as talented, as charismatic, and as dominating of a presence with Johnny Hangtime, and even managers who are legendary in their own right are scared to jump in and step on toes. But Hueso de Cabra knows what he needs to do now. He wants to help some of the folks in For the People. He thinks that their designs on what this promotion should be are the way to go. And that's why he jumped in today to have the back of Alexis Kovac, one of the most notable faces in this promotion, who has been able to push against guys like Johnny Hangtime, who has worked with guys like Alex Jim to help propel them up the card, and who will continue to fight hard against Burn It All Down.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like Hueso de Cabra. I'm glad he is back in action here. And I obviously like Alexis Kovac. He's a 4-4 face. Sure, he's lost 4 matches in a row, but that's because he and Johnny Hangtime have been going back and forth for a while now. And if this wasn't a weekly, I would look at this. I would see that this is a blow off match, I believe. And I would say, you know what? Maybe this is Alexis Kovac's time. Maybe Johnny Hangtime needs to be freed up so he could feud with his brothers over something other than the Emperor's belt. Maybe this is a new era, but this is a weekly, so I don't think you did that. I think you gave it to Johnny.
Yep. Johnny's going to keep it here. Johnny's run maintained strong. He is the emperor of this promotion. That is obviously, very honestly, not the level of wrestling we wanted to see from these two guys who are super talented. But at the end of the day, the narrative moves forward. All right.
Yeah.
And
I'm shocked because you got an I Quit increase for this match, and it was
also
a
look at
hot match.
look at the blow off too.
Yeah, the blow off. I mean, it was a great feud. Like you had 5.5 stars over the course of this, which says a lot of how high it would have been had you had another 5 star match. But I don't have an answer for you on this one. Sometimes you just low roll, um,
Yep.
and that appears to
Just
be
a
what
bit
landed
unlucky on
tonight.
this one.
Um, but the good news is this gets Alexis Kovac above 1,000, which has got to be
Oh
nice
my
to see.
gosh. Wait, it does.
Yeah. Now, the
Wait.
road to being a face of the company does not start until the pay per view ends. It measures.
Yes.
That's when it does all its checks, right? So
No, but listen, I'm going to be honest. We were not expecting that tonight. Alexis is obviously a super talented wrestler, someone you guys are going to see a lot more. But the Hueso de Cabra, showing that he's got some value here already. And even though Johnny put the hurt on, it was something to cheer on about. Despite, I will say, the thing costing me the stars that I wanted tonight.
yeah, that is. I mean, you called exactly how many holy shit moments you were going to get, so you at least get to feel smart. But unfortunately, yeah, it is a 4.5 star card. Not a bad card by any means. That ties you with Eduardo. But unfortunately, because I got a 5 star card that I don't think either
Yep.
of us were expecting about halfway through, I am half a point in the lead heading into the last weekly. And I got to say, I feel like I needed it after watching you destroy me at the last pay per view, and rescoring and finding out that there is a chance that you and I are tied if we figure out how Hype is qualified for the fourth pay per view.
Mm.
This needed to happen. Um, you lost fan. Everyone lost fans, but me. You still had more viewers because your
Lol.
hype is higher, but I'll take 48K fans. Walter, I'll just say I'm glad that you don't seem to care about the wrestler um, total. I was like, because I pointed out, like, hey, you got 5 more as per the update. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to use them anyway. It's like, great. I don't have to care about your reputation anymore. You're happy. I'm happy. Go team. But I'm certainly I'm happy that everyone's got some stories that I think are really fun as we head into the next Gold pay per view, and I'm happy that those of you who watched this far. These are finalized scores because the game has now been updated. And shout out to the developer of Journey of Wrestling for getting that offline update going. It is going to make this league a lot fucking easier.
Mahin the goat.
Absolutely. But speaking of the goats, Xander, where can people find you and perhaps the thing that you do and the people that you coach and support on a regular basis?
Yes. I appreciate that. Yes, you can find me on all socials at Tentacle Coach. I am once again a League of Legends coach, but more importantly, all right, you can find Brooklyn College Esports at CUNY BC Esports. That's CUNY BC Esports. The season's kicking. I just spent 25 hours getting everyone registered and ready to go. We've got a ton of talented college guys and girls ready to throw down and demonstrate Brooklyn College on top. Please go follow them. Give them some love, especially if you're a big fan of League, Valorant, Rocket League, Smash, and Counter-Strike.
Absolutely. You can find me, Chase Wassernaut, at bsky.social, and it will be next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is our new regular time for these streams. We will have the Gold pay per view. But of course, you want to stay tuned to this channel because in a few days, we'll have the last weekly. We'll see if I indeed have the last laugh, and we'll see what other storylines our wrestlers have in store heading into the next pay per view. But until then, goodbye, Internet.